So this webinar is about pleasure, and what are the things that could really stand in the way of us experiencing pleasure and joy and other forms of fulfillment in life. We could have mood swings, we could be in a bad mood, we could have mental health issues, we could be feeling depressed, we could be having relationship issues or financial issues, or what we're going to be talking about today, which is physical pain. Because imagine if you want to enjoy particularly physical pleasure and your back is searing with pain, or every time you move there's great displeasure, you're not going to have a lot of pleasure. So what can we do about this pain? So if you go to a doctor, they'll probably give you painkillers. That might work for a while. It might keep the pain at bay for a little while, but what you're actually doing with those is suppressing the pain. So it will come back. And if you keep taking the painkillers long term, there's likely to be more complications later, so you could be compromising your future access to pleasure. So where I come in and what I do is I offer an alternative for all of the things I listed, including physical pain, and that is through energy work, which might be new to a lot of people. It might be something that is unusual or sounds a bit surprising, that I could sit on one end of a computer screen and someone else could sit on another end, and we could make inroads into the pain that they're feeling, but that's consistently what happens. And the way that it happens is that, so imagine that you do have a pain, let's say in your shoulder. You bang your shoulder on something, and it starts a process where you start to have a problem with that shoulder. It gets more tender. Every time it has another little knock, it gets even worse. And in no time at all, you've got a big shoulder pain issue. Why would that happen to one person who bangs their shoulder, whereas another person who bangs their shoulder in exactly the same way gets better, the shoulder repairs itself? What's stopping the first person's shoulder repairing itself naturally? And the answer is very often it's blocked energies and trapped energies in the body. Most commonly, these come from emotions that we've encountered in the past. We've started to experience these emotions in the past, but we've been at a point where it's just too much. We feel overwhelmed, we feel triggered, we feel like we don't have the resources to fully experience and process that emotion in that moment. So instead of experiencing the emotion and moving on, we internalize that emotion, we repress it effectively. It becomes the trapped energy of an emotion that we haven't fully processed yet, that can go anywhere in our body. It becomes literally a ball of energy. It becomes literally an energy ball that can go to any part of our body. So in this example, it goes to the shoulder, and it stops that shoulder, and when that shoulder gets hurt in some way, the trapped energy in the shoulder is stopping the body's natural repair process. It's the energy of the trapped emotion that's getting exacerbated and causing an ongoing and escalating problem. So what I often do with clients who come, they have a back pain or a neck pain or pain wherever it is to simply ask so I make a connection with their subconscious mind at the beginning of the session. I ask their subconscious mind using muscle testing yes or no questions, and I simply use that to find out what energies have been trapped. They might be emotions, they might be something else, where they are in the body if that's required, and then go through a very simple process to release the energy of that emotion. And it's very common that during the course, and we'll see an example of this hopefully later on, during the course of a half an hour session or so, somebody's pain could dramatically reduce, and it could go from a 7 to a 1, as you're going to see, because I'm going to share with you a couple of very short 30-second testimonials from people who have had recent sessions with me. The first one is from a lady called Cass, who came with neck pain, and this is what happened with her.
I came with a very long history of neck and back pain that has given me problematic pain and discomfort the majority of my life. In my neck, it was about a 7.
And what happened during the session?
The pain began to diminish quite rapidly, and then suddenly it's gone to virtually a 1. But for a skeptic like me, I was quite transformed.
So we'll leave that one there, and I'm going to share one more with you, which is from a lady called Murdula, and she had really severe back pain. She was literally bedridden for quite a long time, and this is what happened over a couple of sessions with her.
I had a very severe back pain 3 months ago, and I was bedridden for quite a very long time. I used to scream, cry out of pain. With the second session, it was completely gone. Even with a painkiller, I didn't have such relief, you know.
So the physical pain had an emotional cause, and literally both of these two ladies had this improvement the first one in one session, the second one in 2 sessions, and they had quite dramatic changes, and that's quite normal, because it was the emotional cause of the physical pain. And there's something that I like to do with all clients if they come a little bit, for a few sessions, and that's to release something called a heart wall, because pretty much everybody I've ever worked with has one of these, and this is what happens when we're in difficult or traumatic times of life. We create basically an energetic shield around our hearts to protect ourselves from what's going on. And rather than me trying to explain it, I'm going to share another very short video. This is less than 2 minutes again, of explaining how this heart wall works, how it's formed, and what effect it can have on people's lives. While creating the emotion code, Dr. Bradley Nelson discovered a previously unknown phenomenon. He found that at particularly difficult or traumatic times of life, we use a mechanism to protect ourselves. We build an energetic wall around our hearts to stop us from having to experience the full intensity of the situation. But the body is an extremely efficient system. Where would this additional energy come from? What happens is, we appropriate a few of these energy balls that have come from our trapped emotions and use them to create a shield. He called this shield a heart wall. The heart wall does its job. It does protect us from having to endure at full strength the intensity of what's happening to us at a time where we might not be able to bear it. But once we have found a way to change our life situation and move on, the heart wall doesn't come down. It remains in place. With all this shielding, it becomes impossible for the heart to give and receive what it was built to give and receive. We remain partially detached from others, and we find ourselves unconsciously attracting rejection or confrontation or failure, or not moving forward in an area of our lives. Sometimes our whole lives can feel directionless and miserable. And so when we bring that heart wall down, it unlocks our potential to be full of joy and happiness, get pleasure, and to just by doing that, physical pain can also be released, because it's all blocked up in this stodge of trapped energies that we've got in the body. So instead of talking about it more, let's do a little demonstration and let's see if we can help somebody. Is there somebody here who is in tangible pain at the moment who we could work on?
So I'm getting the volunteer for this one. So yeah, Guy, me.
Okay, Jessica. So tell me briefly what the issue is and where it is in the body.
So I have a bone spur in the bottom of my heel on my left foot, and it is now causing me quite a lot of pain when it comes to walking on it.
Okay. Are you feeling this pain at this moment?
Yes. Yeah. Now it lingers even when I'm not on it. Yeah.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say the intensity was as you sit there?
As I sit here, it's probably quite low. It's probably about a 4.
Okay.
Yeah. It's if I'm on it.
can I ask you something a little bit sadistic? Could you just stand up for a second and see what...
you can. You can. I was going to do that because the image is just going to see part body. Okay. Right. Okay, so now we're talking more about an 8. Like if I'm trying to scale it together, yeah.
Okay.
I'm putting my weight on
so
it.
It's a 4 sitting and an 8 standing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I do at the start... Yeah, please do, yeah. I'm not so sadistic, I'm going to make you stand for the whole thing. What I normally do at the start of a session to sort of, get some help to be able to do it is I close my eyes, I make a connection to the universal source and a connection to you as well so that we can work. And then I'll be able to ask your body some questions. I'll do it out loud so you can hear what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a few seconds to make that connection.
Okay.
So you and I are connected now, Jessica. I'm basically the muscle testing, if anyone's interested, I use this method. It's called the ring-in-ring method. I pull my fingers together. If they hold, it's a yes. If they come apart, it's a no. So I'm going to ask your subconscious mind some questions now. So you don't have to answer, but so is there an imbalance that we can work on for Jessica to help her with this foot pain? And the answer is yes. Should we start with trapped emotions? Trapped emotions are the most common thing. It's a yes here as well. I'm going to share with you actually, if you would like, a screen. I'm not sure I can get it up. Let me see if we can get this up. No, I don't think I can get this up. I wanted to share a screen showing the emotions we're working from, but we'll just have to go with that.
No.
So what's the first emotion? I'm asking your subconscious mind here. What's the first emotion we need to clear to be able to help Jessica?
My emotions like.
It's sorry. I was just testing your subconscious mind. And the first emotion is actually horror.
Yeah.
It's an experience of horror that you had.
Yeah. I was like...
Okay.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, carry on. It's not weird.
So we've identified that. Sometimes we need to know something more about the emotion. In this case, we don't. So we're just going to give me 2 seconds. We'll release that emotion. The horror is released. So let's see what else we've got in there. The next one. Hopelessness. It's feeling hopelessness. Again, we don't need to know more, so we'll release this too. Hopelessness is released. Let's do another. Indecisiveness. Let's release this. Okay, we can do another. Confusion. Let's release it. Are you feeling anything, by the way? Some people do, some people don't as it's going on, but are you aware of anything going on?
Yeah, in a way, but upper body, in the sense that I kind of feel kind of like I'm being hugged, like a restriction, like...
Oh, okay. So basically you're feeling the energy flowing around.
Yeah, there's definitely, yes.
Okay. The next one is lack of control. And we're going to release this now as well. Depression is the next. So let's release this too. So just to put it into context, each of these will relate to one experience that you've had at some point in your life that you haven't wanted to fully experience. The next one is terror. So let's release that. You've had a busy life, haven't you? Let's release that. That's done. We can go on. The next one, it's called creative insecurity. So this is when you want to make something of your life, you want to create something, but you're not secure about your ability to do it, to create what you want. And so we're going to release this too. You're recognizing some of these.
Ah, yeah.
Next is nervousness. We're releasing that. Next is helplessness. We had hopelessness before. This one's the feeling of being helpless, which we're going to release. So that's all we can do in terms of trapped emotions. We started with those because they're quick and easy. We can actually go now to a bigger system that I use called the body code, which covers a much wider range of imbalances. And I know we're short of time, so we'll just do one. We'll just do unit one, and there'll probably be something associated with it that we'll need to do as well. So we'll keep it short though. And I'm going to again ask your subconscious mind, is there an imbalance we need to address that will help Jessica with her foot pain? And the answer is yes. We're going to find what it is. It's actually a misalignment in the body, in the skeleton. But it's not, okay, I thought it would be one of your limbs, but it's not. It's the main part of your skeleton. It's actually your rib cage. And sometimes what comes up can seem surprising, can seem far away in the body, or could seem not to be related in any way, but everything is connected in ways that we can't possibly know. So we're going to find out what it is. It's one of your ribs. It's the fifth rib, and it's on the right side. So this will be a very, very small misalignment, very small, so that we can actually make a change to that from a distance. But these sorts of imbalances are more complex than the trapped emotions. The trapped emotions are simple, you release them and move on. These have often got other imbalances. Maybe there'll be a trapped emotion that's causing that fifth rib to be out of place. So we're going to see what's behind it, see what sort of there is a type of energy behind it. Okay, no, this is actually a mental energy. And this is a type of energy called a no will. So this is where you decided at some point in your life, I have no will to whatever. The big one is no will to live, that some people have. But it could be a whole load of other things. We're going to find out what it is that you decided you have no will. And it might be something that isn't you and it's not what you live to, but you decided it with such power at one point in your life that the energy of that decision is still affecting you. Okay, I'm just going to find out what it is. It's to let go. No will to let go. Okay, so we're now going to see if there's anything behind that. So behind that we have another trapped emotion that's supporting that no will energy. It's grief. It's an experience of grief. So let's release this grief. The grief is released. So the grief was strengthening this no will to let go. Now that that's gone, we're going to release the energy of this no will in the same way that we release the trapped emotion and energy. There we go. And now we come back to your rib, and we can now correct that tiny misalignment in the rib. That's done. Your rib is happy now. Now, do we have time to go on, or do we stop here?
I think we're probably near at the end. So
okay.
Yeah, for this particular one, although this would be really interesting to continue for other people to, I think, to see this as So
we'll stop doing the imbalances now.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is only a fraction of a session. It's just a taster.
Yeah.
But can you just focus in now as you sit there on the foot?
Mm-hmm.
There may or may not be a difference because it's just the very beginning of the work. But do you notice any change?
So yeah, the foot is tingling rather than.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a different sensation.
So it's in the process. It's in the process of some sort of change. Do you want to stand up and sorry.
It's all right. Oh wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can feel a difference in that already. Completely different, yeah.
Is it a difference in sensation, or is it now lower than an 8?
No, it's lower than an 8.
Where would you put it now?
I'd put it maybe at least 5. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we kept going, if we kept going to the end, we could have probably got it much lower than that. It might continue anyway to improve, or sometimes what happens is that it gets worse again after some time. And the reason for that is that, we started to clear, you started to feel the benefits, but we didn't go all the way down with the work. It just means that there's more to do.
Yeah.
But the fact that it shifts is a sign for you that something's changing through the work.
Yeah. Amazing.
December is typically a really difficult month for me. I am just almost lost and just not able to move forward. Almost immediately after the session, I just felt a release. So I felt free. I was more productive. A lot of the things that I had in my mind in December to do, I was able to just start tackling again. I actually winded up ending the year on a good note, just really happy and moving forward and getting things done. And yeah, I mean, it was amazing.